the president's power, and as the president, you must have actual facts based on reality, not social media or just your gut feeling, if you want to mobilize the military, Rayfield said at a news conference. Oregon's governor called the judge's decision a step in the right direction. We would hope that President Trump respects the court decision and the rule of law, Kotek said. We would hope he reverses course. CNN has reached out to the White House for comment. Related article. Arrest of conservative influencer Nick Sorter outside Portland ICE building now under federal investigation. The Trump administration has been pointing to renewed.
Talking about this, so we're gonna find out what's going on with this Nick fella, because I'm not even sure who Nick is, but I know Nick might be sick.
Arrest of conservative influencer Nick Sorter outside Portland ICE building now under federal investigation. By Andy Rose. Updated October 3rd, 2025. Arrest of conservative influencer Nick Sorter outside Portland ICE building now under federal investigation. The Trump administration has been pointing to renewed.
Talking about this, so we're gonna find out what's going on with this Nick fella, because I'm not even sure who Nick is, but I know Nick might be sick.
Arrest of conservative influencer Nick Sorter outside Portland ICE building now under federal investigation. By Andy Rose. Updated October 3rd, 2025. Conservative influencer Nick Sorter is a conservative influencer who this week posted videos of clashes outside the Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland, Oregon, has been released without bond after he was arrested late Thursday night during what police characterized as a fight. Nick Sorter, 27, of Washington, D.C., was arrested on suspicion of second-degree disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor, along with 2 people from Oregon, the Portland Police Bureau said early Friday in a news release. Now, the Justice Department is investigating Sorter's arrest near the South Portland facility that has become the latest flashpoint in a city with a long history of loud protests and is now a key target of the Trump administration's broader crime crackdown in large Democratic-led cities. A Portland Police Bureau rapid response team arrested Sorter and the 2 Oregonians after an earlier incident in which federal law enforcement briefly detained 2 others during a scuffle, it said, adding the police team had continued to monitor the situation and responded after seeing additional fights break out. In Sorter's view, local police made a big freaking mistake, he wrote of the arrest Friday morning on his X account. You proved what we've all been saying for years, you're corrupt and controlled by violent Antifa thugs who terrorize the streets. Sorter was called by Attorney General Pam Bondi on Friday morning and told the Justice Department will investigate what Sorter called his wrongful arrest, according to a post on his X account. The Justice Department confirmed the investigation to CNN, saying it will be supervised by Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon, whose official X account reposted Sorter's message and advised Portland, buckle up. Dillon posted a signed letter addressed to Portland City Attorney and Police Chief Friday on X, saying her office is concerned Sorter's arrest is potential viewpoint discrimination, and requested investigative materials be shared by October 10th. The city of Portland told CNN they received the letter while in court arguing against the potential National Guard deployment and are still reviewing the inquiry, but said the mayor has full faith in the police department. The Portland Police Bureau denied politics had anything to do with Sorter's case. Among those arrested was an individual known to have a significant social media presence, as well as others representing a range of political viewpoints, the agency said in a statement midday Friday. As with all such situations, arrests are based on observed behavior and probable cause, not political affiliation or public profile. The Trump administration cited Sorter's arrest Friday in a new threat to federal funding for the city. I just spoke with the president about this, and he has directed his team here at the White House to begin reviewing aid that can potentially be cut in Portland, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. More federal resources will be sent immediately following Sorter's arrest, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin confirmed in a post on X. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem appeared to reference the incident with Sorter while speaking with right-wing podcaster Benny Johnson, saying, "What we saw happen to that journalist last night will not happen again." While police did not detail the altercation that led to Sorter's arrest, his case immediately created a stir against Portland police and conservative social media. They will arrest an independent journalist but not violent Antifa members who assault cops and journalists, posted the account founded by influencer Chaya Raichik. Maybe we just need to shut down Portland for good, Republican Governor Greg Abbott of Texas wrote on X. The ICE building in Portland has been the site of protests against the Trump administration's immigration policies for months. John Redoff/AP. Not all potential criminal violations at the protest site will result in immediate arrests, the Portland Police Bureau said, adding, that does not mean that people are not being charged with crimes later. Sorter was detained just hours before a federal judge is scheduled to hear arguments on whether to block President Donald Trump's National Guard call-out in Portland, citing the need to protect ICE facilities from protesters. Sorter and son Mimi E. of Portland were released without bond overnight, while Angela Davis of Vernonia, Oregon, was still in custody early Friday morning, jail records show. It was not clear if any of those arrested had attorneys, and no court date was immediately set. Related article. Judge to decide whether to temporarily block Trump's National Guard deployment in Oregon. Sorter, who has not responded to CNN's request for comment, earlier this week tweeted speculation he might be detained. "If I defend myself, I will be the one who gets arrested. Not the assailant," Sorter posted to X late Wednesday night, calling Portland a third world hellhole. His early online posts focused on environmental crises. With 1.2 million followers on X and a presence on other mainstream social media platforms, Sorter's influence traces to his coverage in 2023 of the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, in which he often criticized government officials over environmental damage. He offered similar coverage of that summer's wildfires in Maui and in recent months has posted about the nationwide immigration enforcement crackdown, with a focus on protests outside ICE facilities, and in celebration of the legacy of the slain conservative firebrand Charlie Kirk. Sorter headed to Portland this week, where tension over White House immigration policies peaked in midsummer with a declared riot and arson arrests. The scene was largely calm until Trump's announcement this week he was federalizing 200 National Guard troops in the city. Related article. Trump says it's anarchy in Portland. Here's why locals say that's far from reality. Portland and the state government have sued, saying the maneuver infringes on Oregon's sovereign interest in managing law enforcement within its borders. With crime down by double digits in nearly all major categories, federal intervention is not needed, Portland Police Bureau Chief Bob Day told CNN's The Source with Caitlin Collins on Wednesday. "We're talking about one city block in 145 square miles, he said of recent protests around the ICE building. Certainly, there have been some challenges down at the facility. Police have been engaged down there extensively over the last 9 months. We've made over 20 arrests ourselves. We've conducted assault investigations. Portland is very much engaged, and, once again, this is just one small block in a big city that we are trying to manage for all of Portlanders," Day said. Related article. What to know about Trump's latest federal deployments in Memphis, Portland, and other U.S. cities. What to know about Trump's latest federal deployments in Memphis, Portland, and other U.S. cities. By Hannah Park, Andy Rose, Chris Boyette. Updated October 2nd, 2025. A member of the National Guard walks. The Trump administration is escalating efforts to deploy federal law enforcement officers in several Democratic-led cities, as part of what it calls a crackdown to address crime and restore order. President Donald Trump has described these deployments as a potential training ground for the military, with Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Chicago, and Portland among the targeted cities. While the White House views protests in Portland, Oregon, as an opening to bolster Trump's federal crime agenda, Democratic leaders nationwide are pushing back, arguing the moves are politically motivated and unnecessary. While the federal government remains shut down after a deadlocked Congress failed to reach a deal on funding, most of the federal law enforcement agents and members of the National Guard will be working without pay, though they would receive back pay after the shutdown ends. Here's a closer look at the latest developments. Memphis. Federal and state officials have expanded law enforcement efforts in Tennessee's second-largest city through the Memphis Safe Task Force, which now includes at least 219 federally deputized officers. U.S. Attorney General Memphis. Federal and state officials have expanded law enforcement efforts in Tennessee's second-largest city through the Memphis Safe Task Force, which now includes at least 219 federally deputized officers. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visited the city on Wednesday. "You are unleashed," White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller told officers Wednesday. He later put the effort in stark terms. "We are going to bulldoze the criminal elements in this city, and therefore liberate the law-abiding citizens," Miller said. The task force has made 93 arrests this week, Bondi said on X on Thursday morning. But the National Guard hasn't been stood up officially, and isn't expected to be up and running for another couple of weeks or so, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis said during a community meeting Thursday. Even when they do arrive, the National Guard deployment in Memphis will look very different compared to a city like Washington, D.C., she said. Memphis is not D.C. D.C. is 68 square miles. Memphis is 340 square miles. D.C. had 1,500 National Guard in 68 square miles. We might get to 200, if that, Davis said. She added that the city has been very engaged in planning with the task force and making sure that after this deployment has ended, there will be a sustainable reduction in crime as opposed to a sour taste in people's mouths about eradicating crime. So, we talked to the individuals that are part of this plan. How do we sustain this? She said. We're not just talking about how do we reduce crime for, a few weeks. She said she spoke with the Metropolitan Police Department chief in Washington, D.C., who said that during the National Guard deployment there, a lot of people just stayed inside their homes. That will look like crime is down, won't it? Said Davis. CNN has reached out to the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. to respond to Davis's comments. The federal presence was visible early Wednesday as law enforcement, some in FBI vests, gathered near a county jail. Around 100 vehicles, including RVs and command trucks marked with U.S. Marshals Service and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation logos, were parked in nearby lots and fields. The law enforcement ramp-up will not be affected by the ongoing federal government shutdown, Bondi said. We don't shut down because President Trump knows crime doesn't stop, and you don't stop, said the Attorney General. Miller encouraged local police to take advantage of the extra federal manpower being embedded with them. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the streets every single night to make arrests, he said Wednesday. Related article. Feds rack up arrests in Memphis as part of Trump admin's latest crime crackdown operation.
So I wonder who's getting arrested in Memphis. We're going to do a deep dive on this one, guys. Hold on. I hit the wrong button. I apologize.
Feds rack up arrests in Memphis as part of Trump admin's latest crime crackdown operation. By Chris Boyette, Devin M. Sayers, Karina Sui, Rachel Spriggs, with Sandra Pita, left, and Memphis. Federal authorities are racking up arrests in Tennessee's second most populous city as President Donald Trump surges federal officers and National Guard troops to crack down on crime across major Democratic-run cities. The president suggested this week the cities could be used as a training ground for the nation's military. The list already includes Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Chicago, and Portland, where local leaders are pushing back on a White House effort to federalize 200 members of Oregon's National Guard. In Memphis, 219 officers were special deputized and our Joint Operations Center is up and running, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Tuesday. By the next morning, the Memphis Safe Task Force (HA-D) made 53 arrests and seized 20 illegal firearms, said Bondi, who visited the city Wednesday with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Speaking in Tennessee, Hegseth said it's the federal government's job to help liberate law enforcement in Memphis, so that they are freed up to go out and provide safety and freedom to the citizens. Outside a county jail east of central Memphis, federal and state law enforcement, some in FBI vests, organized around sunrise Wednesday. About 100 vehicles, including RVs and command trucks with U.S. Marshals Service and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation logos, were parked in nearby lots and fields. A CNN crew also spotted uniformed military personnel flanked by Humvees at the makeshift command center, about 2 weeks after Trump said the National Guard would be dispatched to Memphis. CNN has reached out to the National Guard for a timeline of their arrival in the city. In Oregon, meanwhile, Guard members are now in place, Trump posted Wednesday afternoon on social media. The Portland mayor's press office couldn't immediately confirm whether troops are in the city. CNN has reached out to the Portland Police Bureau, the governor's office, and the Oregon Military Department. State leaders are resisting, arguing this week in a federal lawsuit and a text exchange between the Democratic governor and a Trump aide that the GOP president's urge to quell anarchy in Portland is based on old and faulty intel, and boots are on the ground simply are not needed. Saturation of besieged areas. In Memphis, Trump wants the federal task force to model what he has cast as the success of 2,000 National Guard troops in Washington. The operation, he said, calls for large-scale saturation of besieged neighborhoods with law enforcement personnel and strict enforcement of applicable quality of life, nuisance, and public safety laws. While Memphis has seen high numbers of violent crimes such as homicides and carjackings in recent years, Democratic and Republican officials have noted decreases this year in some crime categories. Related article. President Trump plans to send troops to Portland, Chicago, and Memphis. Here's what we know. Mayor Paul Young, a Democrat, met Monday with federal agency officials, and talks continue about how the feds can support Memphis police, he said. We've seen historic reductions in crime over the past 20 or so months, and we want to continue to build upon that. We do have every reason to believe that they are going to be collaborative and work with our police department throughout this process, Young told CNN affiliate WHBQ at a Tuesday town hall, noting there wouldn't be an uptick in checkpoints, like in D.C. Republican Governor Bill Lee would not expect more than 150 National Guard members to be sent to Memphis or for tanks to roll there, he has said. Adding troops would not make arrests or be armed unless local authorities requested it. The Tennessee governor said he is grateful to be a willing partner to federal agencies during his remarks at the Operations Center on Wednesday. Despite Trump's comparing Memphis with Washington, the federal operation in Tennessee's second most populous city is different than in the nation's capital, where troops report to the Secretary of the Army. Orders in Memphis would subject troops to the Posse Comitatus Act, which bars them from engaging in law enforcement. I welcome this task force, Ricky Jemison, a 30-year resident of Memphis, told CNN's Ryan Young on Wednesday. The Memphis Police Department has been saying for the longest that they need more officers. They said that's one of the reasons why the crime is out of hand. Opponents of a troop deployment in Memphis who gathered Saturday at City Hall argued federal resources instead should go to education, crime prevention, youth services, and hospitals. But while at least some in Tennessee welcome federal support, Oregon's top leaders do not. This is unlawful and unwarranted. There is no insurrection, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek said Saturday. There is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. A Sunday text message exchange between Kotek, a Democrat, and Trump assistant Natalie Harp further reflects the friction, and also raises more questions about whether footage of years-old unrest in Portland is spurring the latest federal action. Governor, the ICE facility in Portland was attacked again last night, reads a text Harp wrote was from the president and Kotek's office later shared via a public records request. In fact, it, and other federal buildings, are being attacked on a nightly basis. We can't have this. The governor responded, received. I know he has a busy schedule today. We'll try calling him later. Thanks. Later Sunday, Kotek sent another message. I just received your notice to mobilize the Oregon National Guard outside of my control. I believe this is unlawful and unwarranted. You broke your promise to speak with me before taking further action against Portland. I will be in touch later. Within hours, Oregon and Portland officials sued the Trump administration, alleging the president's move to federalize state National Guard personnel is unlawful and baseless and claiming the White House is using protests as long ago as 2020 in and around Portland to justify the action. Related article. Trump says it's anarchy in Portland. Here's why locals say that's far from reality. Trump says it's anarchy in Portland. Here's why locals say that's far from reality. By Andy Rose. Most people in Portland, Oregon, don't mind if you think they're weird. In fact, it's practically a trademark. We do have a lot of weirdos here, Sarah Ciano, who has lived in the city off and on since 2010, says with a smile. But to hear President Donald Trump tell it, Portland is the latest city taken over by terrorists and in desperate need of federal salvation, making its weirdness something else entirely. It's anarchy out there, Trump said last week in the Oval Office, days before announcing the federalization of 200 members of the Oregon National Guard for a period of 60 days. The president is citing daily protests outside the city's Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility to justify the latest of his troop call-ups in a major city with a Democratic-led government. The radical left's reign of terror in Portland ends now, the White House said in a news release Tuesday announcing the deployment of federal troops to the Pacific Northwest city. The Trump administration indicated it was sending in additional resources to crush violent radical left terrorism. While Democrat politicians deny reality, it's obvious what's happening in Portland isn't protest. It's premeditated anarchy that has scarred the city for years, leaving officers battered, citizens terrorized, and property defaced, the news release read. The anarchy described by the president is strongly disputed by locals who say they don't want or need federal help. It kind of feels like somebody's trying to rage bait you, Ciano said. They're just trying to get that negative reaction. Related video. It's slippery slope, CNN military analyst reacts to. The state and the city government took their concerns a step further Sunday, filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration and calling the president's move unlawful and baseless. There is no insurrection, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek said Saturday. There is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. As they await a federal judge's decision on whether to block the Guard deployment, and continue to emphasize their sanctuary city status, Portland officials remain at odds with Trump over their view that the city needs no additional federal presence. President Trump has directed all necessary troops to Portland, Oregon, Mayor Keith Wilson said Saturday. The number of necessary troops is 0. Protests have calmed since summer. Getting an exact record of clashes between protesters and law enforcement is difficult because most of the standoff has been between demonstrators and federal agents, with Portland police declining to get involved unless there is a safety threat to the general public. Portland Police Bureau logs show more than 100 calls made to the address of the ICE building this year. Listed reasons include disorder, unwanted person, and shots fired. Protesters gather outside the Immigration and Customs Enforcement building in Portland, Oregon, on Wednesday, September 10th. Jenny Kane/AP. The tension reached its peak during 1 week in June, when a half-dozen protesters were arrested for allegedly starting fires around the building and more were accused of interfering with law enforcement. On June 14th, a protest organized in connection with the National No Kings movement turned violent as some demonstrators arrived at the ICE facility. Police declared a riot outside the building, the only time this year, and made 3 arrests. Portland police continued to monitor the area for the following week, resulting in 4 minor arrests, including one for DUI. Later that month, the building was closed for several days after federal law enforcement forcibly removed protesters who refused to leave federal property. Related article. Portland city leaders and residents are pushing back against ICE. Now Trump is sending in troops.
And we have way more going on CNN. We're going to see what's going on CNN. Or matter of fact, we're going to actually hit the Google Trends. Because when you're trending on Google, that's the peak. That's the peak of everything that you can do in life is trend on Google. So who's trending first? We're about to find out.
Ex-QB Mark Sanchez arrested, faces 3 possible charges. Former NFL quarterback and current Fox Sports broadcaster Mark Sanchez was arrested by the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department on Saturday and is facing 3 misdemeanor charges in relation to an incident where he was stabbed and taken to a hospital. The IMPD said Sanchez was arrested at the hospital on suspicion of battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. No further individuals are being sought by detectives. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make the final charging decision, the IMPD said. Sanchez is still hospitalized and has not yet been booked into a detention center. Earlier Saturday, Fox Sports said in a statement that Sanchez is recovering and in stable condition. We are deeply grateful to the medical team for their exceptional care and support. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mark, and we ask that everyone please respect his and his family's privacy during this time, Fox Sports said in its earlier statement. The IMPD earlier said that it was investigating an incident between 2 men that took place at approximately 12:30 a.m. Saturday. The IMPD did not identify the men in its earlier statement but said one man received lacerations while the other man received injuries consistent with stab wounds. Detectives had reviewed video footage of the confrontation, which police said occurred in the popular downtown nightlife wholesale district next to the Indiana State House. Sanchez was scheduled to be part of the broadcast crew for Sunday's contest between the Las Vegas Raiders and Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium but will no longer work the game. Sanchez, 38, played 8 seasons in the NFL after being selected 5th by the New York Jets in the 2009 draft out of USC. He helped the Jets to back-to-back AFC Championship game appearances in his first 2 seasons. Sending our thoughts and love to Mark Sanchez and his family. Hoping for a speedy recovery, 6, the Jets posted to X, using Sanchez's former jersey number. Sanchez also played for the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and Washington, the team he last appeared in a regular season game for in 2018. The Associated Press contributed to this report.
Okay. We're going to see what else is trending. So now you know why Mark is trending. Let's see why the UFC is trending.
Main card results, UFC 320, Ankalaev vs. Pereira 2. UFC returns to Las Vegas on October 4th with 2 massive title fights. In the main event, light heavyweight champion Magomed Ankalaev defends his title for the first time in a rematch with UFC superstar and former 2-division champion Alex Pereira. In the co-main event, bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili aims for his 3rd successful title defense of 2025 when he battles number 4 ranked contender Corey Sandhagen. UFC 320, Ankalaev vs. Pereira 2 takes place live from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada on October 4th, 2025. Early prelims start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, followed by the prelims at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time and the main card live on PPV at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Main and co-main events scheduled for 5 rounds. All other bouts scheduled for 3 rounds. How to watch and stream UFC 320, Ankalaev vs. Pereira 2. Live results, fight recaps and backstage interviews. This page will be updated live throughout the event with official results, recaps of every fight and our exclusive interviews with tonight's big winners. Youssef Zalal defeats Josh Emmett by verbal submission, armbar, at 1:38 of round 1. Youssef Zalal steamrolled Josh Emmett, registering his 5th straight win with a first-round submission finish. Almost immediately at the start of the fight, Zalal changed levels and twisted Emmett to the canvas, quickly working around to the back and starting to put the veteran to a series of dilemmas. After looking for a triangle, the Moroccan Devil switched off to an armbar, getting the verbal tap from Emmett. This was an absolute masterclass from Zalal, who has been on an absolute tear since returning to the UFC last March. He's now 5-0 with 4 finishes inside the octagon over the last 18 months, having won 8 straight overall to establish himself as a genuine contender in the 145-pound weight class. Prelim results, scorecards, order PPV. Joe Pyfer defeats Abus Magomedov by submission, rear naked choke, at 1:46 of round 2. Joe Pyfer secured the biggest win of his career to kick off the UFC 320 main card, hurting Abus Magomedov almost immediately to start the second, shifting to his grappling and securing the submission finish. Joe Pyfer post-fight interview, UFC 320. Unlock more of your inner combat sports fan with UFC Fight Pass. Fighting is what we live for. And no one brings you more live fights, new shows, and events across multiple combat sports from around the world. With a never-ending supply of fighting in every discipline, there's always something new to watch. Leave it to the world's authority in MMA to bring you the ultimate 24/7 platform for more combat sports, UFC Fight Pass. Continue watching. Unlock more of your inner combat sports fan with UFC Fight Pass. Fighting is what we live for. And no one brings...
And if you feel like Rocky, that's probably how you feel. But I don't know. We got Miami, Florida versus Florida State. And I'm trying to figure out how they are different. I need to know because I don't watch college. I've never been to high school.
Miami, Florida State. History of the rivalries of kicking mosquitoes. On Saturday night, Florida State and Miami will meet in Tallahassee for what's certain to be the most nationally anticipated edition of their rivalry in years. With Miami ranked number 3 and Florida State ranked number 18 in the most recent AP poll, the Week 6 contest will mark the first time the two teams will meet, with each boasting top 25 rankings since 2016. Coincidentally, 2016 was the last time an unlikely trend that has helped define the rivalry over the past 4 decades reared its head: failed field goal attempts. Since 1990, 7 ranked showdowns between the Seminoles and Hurricanes have been decided in large part by unsuccessful field goal attempts. There have been missed kicks 4 to the right, and 1 to the left, to be exact, blocked kicks and fumbled holds over the years. And while the famous wide right trend exclusively benefited Miami, Florida State has now been on the winning side of a pair of critical botched kicks itself. Regardless of team, one thing is certain heading into Saturday: if either the Seminoles or Hurricanes need to convert a clutch field goal late on, you should probably make sure you're watching. History tells us it could get interesting. 1991, Miami 17, Florida State 16. The chronology of kicking failures in Miami, Florida State began on November 16, 1991, when the legend of Wide Right was born. When the two teams met at Doak Campbell Stadium that Saturday, the stakes couldn't have been higher. The Seminoles were the number 1 team in the country, while the Hurricanes were number 2, and a tightly contested affair lived up to the proximity of the two teams' rankings. Eventually, the game came down to a 34-yard field goal attempt by Florida State's Jerry Thomas, already 3 on field goal attempts on the day, who was sent out to give Florida State a 19-17 win as time expired. Thomas's kick, however, sailed just to the right of the uprights, earning the game the nickname Wide Right Eye. Why the Roman numeral? Well, the two teams met again soon enough. 1992, Miami 19, Florida State 16. And in 1992, Wide Right 2 occurred. What?
You guys are starting to make me feel old. We're going to stop reminiscing on a good old past. We got Texas versus Florida, too. It seems like everybody coming at Florida. Even Florida is one crazy
Lagway
state.
improves. Wilson shines in his debut, and Florida upsets number 9 Texas 29-21 in the Swamp. 153. The Gators defense bring the heat with 6 sacks to the Longhorns 0. While Lagway comes alive with 298 yards to go along with Jaden Baugh's 107 yards and a TD in a 29-21 upset. Highlight: DJ Lagway, Florida stun number 9 Texas in the Swamp. The Gators defense bring the heat with 6 sacks to the Longhorns 0, while Lagway comes alive with 298 yards to go along with Jaden Baugh's 107 yards and a TD in a 29-21 upset. Gainesville, Florida, DJ Lagway and Dallas Wilson might be the combination Florida coach Billy Napier needs to save his job. Lagway threw for a season-high 289 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Wilson, a true freshman making his college debut, and Florida upset number 9 Texas 29-21 on Saturday to end a 3-game skid. It's us against the world, Lagway said. That's our mentality. Arch Manning and the Longhorns, 3-2, 0-1 Southeastern Conference, had a chance in the final minute thanks partly to a defensive penalty, but he threw incomplete deep and was sacked twice. That set off a raucous celebration for Florida, 2-3, 1-1, which won for the first time since beating Long Island in the opener and eased some pressure on Napier. Lagway looked better than he had in 4 previous starts this season, and Wilson had a lot to do with it. The Tampa native showed speed, hands and arguably the most physicality of any Florida receiver in years. Wilson's 55...
Are you guys still up? We have so much more news to cover. Now we got Minnesota versus Ohio State.
What channel is Ohio State versus Minnesota on today? Time, TV schedule to watch Week 6 game. Ohio State football is rolling early in the 2025 college football season. The number 1 Buckeyes, 4-0, 1-0 Big Ten, are coming off an impressive 24-6 win on the road against a then undefeated Washington to open conference play. OSU has allowed just 22 points through 4 games, including limiting Texas and the Huskies to 7 and 6 points, respectively. The defense will look to rise to the occasion again against Minnesota, 3-1, 1-0, when the teams square off at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. The Golden Gophers are coming off a 31-28 win over Rutgers last week. Their lone loss was a 27-14 loss to Cal on September 13th. Stream Ohio State football versus Minnesota live on Fubo, free trial. Here's how to watch, including time, TV schedule, live streaming info and game odds. What TV channel is...
Well, we know this is going to be different for every area, so you're going to have to check in your local district, because I don't know. I don't know about high school football or college or whatever this happens to be.
Number 10 Alabama avenges loss from a season ago with 30-14 win over number 16 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was not able to beat Alabama in back-to-back seasons. Photo by Butch Dill/Getty Images. Butch Dill via Getty Images. Vanderbilt QB Diego Pavia turned the ball over twice inside Alabama's 20-yard line as the number 16 Commodores failed to get back-to-back wins over the Crimson Tide in a 30-14 defeat Saturday. Vanderbilt had the chance to take the lead early in the 4th quarter after Alabama kicked a field goal to go up 20-14 in the 3rd. But a play after Pavia hit Cole Spence for a 33-yard gain to the Alabama 17-yard line, Pavia was intercepted by Alabama's Kean Sabb. Alabama put the game away on its next drive as the Tide chewed up over 8 minutes running the ball over and through Vanderbilt. Offensive lineman Caden Proctor even got in on the fun, lining up in the backfield for a 2-yard third down conversion a week after motioning out wide and catching a pass in the Crimson Tide's win over Georgia. Proctor's run helped set up a 30-yard field goal by Connor Talty with 4:08 to go that extended Alabama's lead to 2 scores. Jam Miller added a 20-yard TD run in the closing seconds to inflate the lead. Pavia entered Saturday's game supremely confident after Vanderbilt's 5-0 start and the team's 40-35 upset of Alabama a season ago. Yahoo Sports TV is here. Watch live shows and highlights 24/7. The Commodores weren't overwhelmed by the Tide at the start either. RB Cedric Alexander broke a 65-yard run in the 1st quarter to give Vanderbilt a 7-0 lead. And after Alabama missed a field goal on its opening drive, Vanderbilt and Pavia had a chance to put the Tide on the ropes. Instead, Pavia fumbled on a run to the Alabama 8-yard line. What could have been a 14-0 Vanderbilt lead became a 7-7 tie after the Tide went on a 92-yard TD drive that ended with a TD pass from Ty Simpson to Ryan Williams. Vanderbilt's upset a season ago came as the Commodores held on to the ball as long as they could. Alabama had the ball for fewer than 18 minutes. Saturday, it was the Tide's turn to play keep away. Alabama ran nearly 20 more plays than Vanderbilt and had the ball for over 36 minutes. The Tide's run game wasn't incredibly effective. Alabama averaged just 3.5 yards a carry before Miller broke the game open. But that game-clinching, 16-play drive included 10 rushing attempts.
And attempt as you may, attempt as you try, you'll just be listening to us tonight. Unless you're making love listening to us, then you might be the rare exception, but I doubt it.
Dodgers rally to reward Ohtani, 9 Ks, swipe Game 1 in Philadelphia. Sonia Chen. At Sunjamchen. Philadelphia, even when he's on the road, Shohei Ohtani tends to garner quite a bit of appreciation from opposing fans. Not at Citizens Bank Park. Not in the postseason. NLDS Game 2, presented by Booking.com, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time /3 PT on TBS. Already known as a hostile crowd for visiting teams, the sea of red-clad fans in the stands let Ohtani have it well before he even took the mound. booing lustily as he went to the bullpen to warm up and erupting when he struck out to lead off the game, swinging through 3 straight offerings from Christopher Sanchez. Perhaps the Philly fans hoped to exploit the nerves that Ohtani admitted to feeling on the eve of his postseason pitching debut. But as they witnessed in Saturday night's 5-3 Dodgers win, when Ohtani is nervous, it does not mean he is easily rattled. I use the word compartmentalize a lot, manager Dave Roberts said. But this epitomizes compartmentalizing. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Ohtani, who went 0 for 4 with a walk as a hitter and gave up a 3 spot in the second inning, but the two-way superstar settled down to pick up the win and record a quality start. Teoscar Hernandez, who made a lackadaisical effort on defense that helped the Phillies stack those runs on Ohtani, atoned for the miscue by giving the Dodgers their first lead with a 3-run homer off Phillies reliever Matt Strahm in the 7th. From the position player's side, one of the messages in a meeting with hitting coach Aaron Bates seemed to resonate. Even when you're down in a hostile environment, it doesn't mean you're out. Something's going to happen in this game that the crowd's going to go wild, but that doesn't matter, Max Muncy said. What matters is what happens at the end, and when we silence the crowd, it's going to be an amazing feeling. Historically speaking, the Dodgers' comeback victory in Game 1 of the NL Division Series puts them in good company. In postseason history, teams to win Game 1 in any best-of-5 series have gone on to win the series 113 of 156 times, 72.4%. In Division Series with the current 2-2-1 format, teams to win Game 1 on the road have advanced 34 of 46 times, 73.9%. Across 6 innings, Ohtani allowed 3 hits, walked 1 batter, and hit another.
I'm just happy baseball is like French to me, because I could say a lot of languages, but French would be the language I don't understand. Please don't speak French around me. Excuse your French, because I don't speak French, but either way, guys, I'm a little bit irritated. That wasn't what we were looking at, though. It said the Tigers versus... So why was they talking about the Phillies? I'm mad, guys. I'm mad. I did not know the Phillies lost. Penn State. I don't know what's going on with Penn State.
Number 7 Penn State searching for answers after loss to UCLA. Pasadena, California. A stunned James Franklin could do nothing but wait and watch as every one of his players shuffled off the field at the Rose Bowl. While UCLA students stormed the field and the Bruins celebrated their first win of the year, the Penn State coach slowly made his way through the tunnel to a smattering of boos from the Nittany Lions fans in attendance. A week after going toe-to-toe with number 2 Oregon at home and dropping its first game of the season, number 7 Penn State compounded its error in shocking fashion. Led by interim coach Tim Skipper, interim defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle, and interim offensive coordinator Jerry Neuheisel, UCLA won 42-37, handing the preseason number 2 team the biggest upset of this college football season and one of the worst losses of the Franklin era. We made mistakes today that we normally don't make, Franklin said. A ton of missed assignments, turnovers at critical times, penalties at critical times, things that we really don't do and have not done for a very long time. Since 1936, only 4 teams ranked in the AP Top 10 have lost to a team with a record of 0-4 or worse. The last time it happened was in 1985, when UTEP beat number 7 BYU. Obviously, we did not handle last week's loss well, Franklin said. We also lost some players in that game during the week, and then everything else, travel, everything else. We did not come out with the right energy to start the game. That's my responsibility, and I didn't get it done. Despite being favored by more than 20 points, the Nittany Lions came out flat and allowed UCLA's offense to dictate the tempo. The Bruins held possession of the ball for nearly 40 of the game's 60 minutes. They also successfully executed an onside kick in the first quarter and forced a fumble to start the second half. Nobody in the world expected us to win, UCLA cornerback Key Lawrence said. Let's be honest here, like, everybody doubted us. Coming into the game, UCLA ranked as the 134th offense in scoring. In its previous 4 games, it had scored a total of 57 points. Saturday's sudden offensive explosion was powered by a whopping 269 rushing yards, 128 of them by quarterback Nico Iamaleava, who gave Penn State's defense fits all game.
Well, I'm sorry, but we don't need to know all about Penn State, okay? We got Yankees versus the Blue Jays. What's going on with the Yankees and the Blue Jays? We don't know, but we need
Vlad Jr.'s playoff breakout fuels Jays' offensive explosion in Game 1 rout. Play. Vlad Guerrero Jr. crushes solo shot to put Blue Jays on top, 0-38. Vlad Guerrero Jr. smacks a solo home run to give the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. 0-38. Toronto Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s playoff career before Saturday was not befitting a $500 million franchise cornerstone. The Toronto Blue Jays first baseman managed just 3 hits in 25 plate appearances and didn't hit a ball over the fence across 6 games. More important, the 6 games, split into 2 game slices over 3 postseasons, were all Blue Jays losses. That all flipped in a 10-1 win over the Yankees, the franchise he has long openly despised, in Game 1 of the American League Division Series on Saturday. Starring in front of a raucous Rogers Center crowd hungry for playoff baseball, Guerrero delivered an all-around clinic in the Blue Jays' first playoff win since Game 4 of the 2016 AL Championship Series with a diving catch and 3 hits to fuel an offensive explosion. He's the face of our franchise and a big reason why we go, a big part of why we're here, Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman said. So it's been nice to see him have the night that he had. At the plate, Guerrero swatted his first career postseason home run and finished 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored to fuel an offense that pounded 14 hits, including 3 home runs and 3 doubles. Defensively, his diving catch of Ryan McMahon's lineout at first base while a bat shard whizzed by him initiated an inning-ending double play in the second. Blue Jays catcher Alejandro Kirk complimented Guerrero's effort with his first 2 career postseason home runs. Right fielder Nathan Lukes contributed 2 hits, including a 2-run double, with 3 RBIs and a diving catch down the right field line. Shortstop Andres Gimenez went 2 for 4 as the Blue Jays chased Luis Gil after 2 2/3 innings and forced the Yankees to use 6 pitchers. I think having him get the scoring going, the double play at first with McMahon, it's nice, Blue Jays manager John Schneider said of Guerrero. It gives you a little bit of a jolt because it's Vlad and what he means to this team. Guerrero did not waste time in providing that energy, swatting a 90 miles per hour changeup from Gil in the first inning to give the Blue Jays a lead they wouldn't relinquish. He added singles in the 2nd and 8th innings and a sacrifice fly in the Blue Jays' game-busting 4-run 7th, igniting the sellout crowd on a gorgeous day in Ontario with the building's roof open. That it happened against the Yankees was fitting. Guerrero's dislike of the Yankees, he has said, dates back to 2 incidents over 2 decades ago, the Yankees pulling a contract offer for his father, a Hall of Fame outfielder, in 2003 and Yankee Stadium security telling his father to take him off the field when he was a boy. For me, I bring the same energy every game regardless who I'm playing, especially now in the playoffs, Guerrero said. That's all I've got on my mind is to go out there and play hard. Whatever his motivation, the 5-time All-Star has enjoyed facing the Yankees during his 7-year career. Entering Saturday's matchup, the first ever between the 2 clubs in the postseason, Guerrero was batting .302 with 22 home runs and in 0.918 OPS in 102 career games opposite the Yankees. He improved those gaudy numbers Saturday, adding another highlight reel to a year that began with him committing to Toronto with a 14-year, $500 million contract extension in April and that he hopes ends with the franchise's first championship since 1993 later this month. For me,
take me out to the ball game, take me out to the stands, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, and I don't care if they ever come back. It's because I said, F you, your whole team will beat you.
TCU versus Colorado highlights, late scores by Horned Frogs knock off Buffaloes. Coach Deion Sanders and his Colorado football team returned to TCU Saturday night with the same flashy, all-white uniforms they wore on September 2nd, 2023, the day they shocked the nation by beating TCU in Sanders' first game as the team's coach. But this time, the Buffaloes faded again after another hot start. They lost, 35-21, dropping to 2-4 and 0-3 in Big 12 conference play in Sanders' 3rd season as coach. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover completed 23 of 33 passes for 275 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead TCU, which improved to 4-1 overall and 1-1 in Big 12 play. What a win, Hoover told Fox after the game. The Buffaloes took a 14-0 lead in the first half, just like they did last week in a 24-21 loss against Brigham Young. But then they fizzled again, this time allowing 21 unanswered points to the Horned Frogs before tying the game at 21-21 in the 4th quarter. Colorado then muffed a punt return to give TCU a short field, setting up the go-ahead 18-yard touchdown pass from Hoover with 5:44 left. TCU's final touchdown came with 19 seconds left, a 21-yard pass from Hoover to receiver Eric McAllister. Colorado quarterback Kaidon Salter completed 18 of 29 passes for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. It won't get easier for the Buffs after this. They return home to face number 12 Iowa State next Saturday. With 2 o'clock left, TCU leads 28-21. TCU is threatening to put the game out of reach and has a first down on the Colorado 25-yard line with 2 o'clock left. Quarterback Josh Hoover ran 11 yards for a first down on the previous play. If Colorado loses, it will be the 2nd consecutive week they took a 14-0 lead in the first half but lost. TCU is up again after a wild series of events. Game officials made a strange call against TCU midway through the 4th quarter, flagging the Horned Frogs for pass interference and erasing a 43-yard gain on 4th down. The replay didn't show much contact made against Colorado by TCU's Eric McAllister, but he was penalized anyway to take away a big play from TCU tight end DJ Rogers. It worked out for the Horned Frogs. They got the ball right back after Colorado muffed the ensuing punt. Then they scored on an 18-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Josh Hoover, helping TCU take a 28-21 lead with 5:44 left. And we're tied again after Colorado touchdown. Colorado answered TCU's touchdown with a touchdown of its own, this time on a 31-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Kaidon Salter to receiver Marion Miller. Salter underthrew the ball in the end zone, but Miller adjusted and reeled it in, helping Colorado tie the game at 21-21 with 11:42 left. It was Miller's second touchdown of the game. He has 4 catches for 75 yards. TCU takes its first lead of game in.
Well, as you know, we have a lot of stuff going on, and we just sitting here reading all the news to you guys live as you doing the news. And if you don't know what the news is, I don't know what to tell you. We got the MS State versus the Texas State, and what's going on out there today, I don't know, but I'm going to off the screen for y'all.
What time does the Texas A&M versus Mississippi State game start? See kickoff time, TV channel, how to watch. The number 6 Aggies are favored to beat the Bulldogs, who haven't won a conference game in more than a year. Cassius Howell, number 9 of the Texas A&M Aggies, celebrates after making a sack against Jackson Arnold, number 11 of the Auburn Tigers, in the 4th quarter of the game at Kyle Field on September 27, 2025 in College Station, Texas. Kenneth Richmond/Getty Images. Texas A&M is set to take on Mississippi State at home during Week 6. The number 6 Aggies are favored to beat the Bulldogs, who haven't won a conference game in more than a year. In 2024, A&M beat Mississippi State 34-24 in Week 8. Article continues below this ad. Here's everything you need to know about today's matchup. How to watch Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. See date, start time, TV channel, streaming. Game day, Saturday, October 4th, 2025 kickoff, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Location, Bryan College Station.
Well, I guess we don't want to learn how to watch it, though. We got the post thoughts. Okay.
Post-game thoughts. A&M beats Mississippi 31-9. Your fightin' Texas Aggies took on a decent Mississippi State team in a game where we were favored by 2+ TDs. It wasn't always pretty, nor did it always go the way we wanted it to, but we walked away with a 3 TD win. I'm happy. Really happy. But I'm also going to be critical of this team too, because if we are going to be as good as we want to be, it's okay to be critical. It's okay to call out bad and celebrate good, because we are a good team, but we want to be a fucking great team. So let's break this down. Defense.
Oh, watch the language. Watch the language, young lady.
Mississippi State had 219 total yards. 83 of them came on the second drive in the first quarter, ended in a FG, and 75 came on the second quarter. Meaning, aside from those 2 drives, this defense gave up 61 yards in 3+ quarters of work. I don't really care who you are playing, that's really damn good. What pleased me most was the emergence of youngsters. We know about York, and we know about Howell, and we know about Ricks, and we know about Willie. But guys like Sanford are coming into their own. Dalton Brooks looked like had been shot out of a cannon on his way to get a sack, and then later had a great little takeaway. Jordan Shaw, transfer from Washington, had a takeaway. What I like to see is the guys that we don't hear about having a great game. Now on to the critical part. That second drive that Mississippi ST had, Fluff Bothwell and Devon Booth just kicked our ass up the field. It's classic Elko to give up a big drive early and then lock in, but still. Shit like that can't happen. Similarly, in that drive in the 4th quarter, we gave up a 44-yard pass to Brennan Thompson on the heels of a 15-yard reception to Aiden Williams. That's 60 yards in 2 plays. Can't do that. We have to be better. Also shout out to Tyler White, who averaged 45 yards a punt. Great night for him too. Offense. Let's talk about Marcel Reed. Reed finished the game 13 for 23 for 180 with 2 TDs/1 INT with 6 carries for 30 yards, which isn't ideal, but when you consider the fact that he started 3 out of 10, and then went October 13th the rest of the way, it feels a little better. Marcel is a rhythm guy. He needs 3 steps and then bang the balls out. He needs predictability. And he didn't have that. Every time he double-clutched the ball, it ends up in a sailed pass. Additionally, Marcel Reed needs to run the ball. This offense works best when Marcel is making good decisions, and so many of that include Marcel not handing the ball off to his RBs and going to option 2. That 4th down stop they had was a T-zone red type shit. The defense crashed and Marcel didn't see it. He has to be better. But on the flip side, ooh-hoo-wee, that juke he had. This team is better with Marcel making good decisions. Part of him making good decisions means him and Klein need to get on the same page. We racked up 479 yards of offense, including 272 on the ground, but it was tale of two halves. 179 in the first half and then a whopping 300 in the second. Maybe it's just getting on the same page, but it seemed like the second half was less of a focus on Marcel dropping back, and rather giving him those rhythm throws built on the run. Happy for Ruben Owens, who finished with 21 carries for 142. And super happy for Mario Craver, who got revenge on his old team by going 6 catches for 80 with 35 on the ground. Last thing, procedural penalties. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but we've got to figure that out. Too many procedural penalties with false starts. At some point, it's not about individual player performance, but something related to scheme.
Now, at some point, you gotta watch your language, and if you don't know how to watch your language, I really don't know what to tell you. So, we just out here doing what we do, browsing through the news, trying to bring you guys the news as it's happening. I'm thinking about doing a little refresh. See what's going on now on the refresh. Maybe see what's trending in the past 4 hours. The Mariners. Okay, we seen that. We seen that. We seen all this already, so I don't know how much we can be talking. The October harvest moon. I don't even know what that is.
Rare October harvest moon to be first supermoon of 2025. Image source, Getty Images. Image caption. The 2024 harvest supermoon rises over Glastonbury Tor. By Sarah Keith Lucas. Lead weather presenter. Published October 4th, 2025. The first supermoon of 2025 will appear in our skies on Tuesday night, kicking off a series of lunar events. The full harvest moon rises in the UK at around 1820 Greenwich Mean Time on October 7th and will mark the start of a run of 3 consecutive supermoons in the final 3 months of 2025. It will be the largest and brightest full moon of the year so far and the first supermoon since November 2024. If you want to catch a glimpse, keep an eye on the forecast, though, as cloud may obscure the view in some places. What makes a full moon a supermoon? The moon's orbit around the Earth is not circular but elliptical, meaning that the distance between the two varies throughout the year. If the moon is full at its closest point to Earth, called the perigee, or within 90% of its closest point, it can be referred to as a supermoon. The term was first coined in 1979 by astrologer Richard Nall to describe full moons that appear noticeably larger and brighter as they coincide with the perigee. They can seem to be up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter than other full moons, external. Different parts of the astronomical community chose to define supermoons in slightly varying ways. An alternative definition is any full moon within 360,000 kilometers of the center of the Earth, and under this interpretation, October's harvest moon would not qualify. What is a harvest moon? Full moons throughout the year are given names, often dating back centuries, that reflect what is happening in nature. October's full moon is known as the hunter's moon, but it is also this year's harvest moon. The harvest moon is the name given to the full moon that rises closest to the autumn equinox, traditionally a time for gathering crops. It also rises around sunset for several evenings in succession, creating
That is pretty interesting. We're about to open up the lines, though, so forget the screensaver at either the bottom of your screen or at the... Just don't worry about it, guys. You don't gotta worry about everything in life, do you? And you gotta worry about everything in life. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I really don't know what to tell you. Why would I put a QR code in there? Oh, I seen that. Do I gotta do anything on it? No, I just gotta take these headphones out. I don't feel like I have to do anything else. Oh, the text. The text. And then I'm just doing it on a note. if it wants me to hold my phone sideways. Yeah, I ain't doing all that. I like this one. Trying to get the number for you guys. And once we got the number for you guys will know what's going on. Make sure I'll put this on up for you guys too. Okay. I probably should have been turned this microphone up. I apologize. It's kind of like self-explanatory. We just in that weird mid-phase. Cause I want you guys to know what we about to do next. But it's not ready for you guys yet. It's not ready for you guys yet. I still gotta hang this phone up. And it's risky too, because I'm hopping off with no safety net. That's because I feel like I know how to do this right now. We're gonna hop off here with no safety net, chat. No safety net. Matter of fact, that's the safety net. Oh, the end is a new tab. That looks cool. That just looks so cool, don't it, chat? I'm gonna turn this music down. I'm gonna turn this microphone up just right. Let me see. First, we're gonna have to pause the music. Now my dog ain't snoring. My dog been snoring this whole time, and now my dog don't want to snore. So maybe a little bit lower than that. Yeah, definitely a little bit lower than that. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Now we're going to get the music back in the flow. You guys know the music is necessary. That's about it. Got that closed out. Oh, I'm sorry. I never turned the screen back on for you guys. And you guys going to be able to see me in a little bit once I get this iPhone fully powered up. Sorry, guys. But I got a nice little scene right there with a full moon. Give you guys some time to migrate over. Because, like, we getting up off of this YouTube thing. We going to be getting up off of this YouTube thing. Because YouTube can be too risky doing what we about to be doing. And as we doing it, you know we doing it. So, now we're going to get these callers in. And the callers are going to have to talk nice. Because if the callers don't want to talk nice, we're going to turn the callers down. But call in now. Unless you're afraid. And if you're afraid of being afraid, then I'm afraid I can't be afraid of you. But if you want to be afraid of me, then I'm just going to be me. And one of the things about this app, I keep the app turned down so much because I'm usually arguing with people on here. And I won't allow myself to do that at all. You shouldn't be arguing. See, they play music all loud, and she's playing music all loud. She's happy because, oh, okay, I know why she's happy. Well, congratulations. Oh, sorry. I got this Be Right Back screen over on there, too. And I gotta apologize to you guys. I gotta apologize so many times and more because I'm sorry for 20... I'm sorry for all the years, chat. I'm sorry for all the years. If you're going to blame anybody for the years, you have to blame me for the years. And you can't blame me for the years. I have to apologize, you know. I have to. I have to apologize. But you see, the full moon is out over the tower. And with the full moon over the tower, I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. She knows what that means more than me. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know why I come on here talking like an asshole sometimes, but I really try not to be an asshole, but I feel like I be an asshole by accident, and I don't know how to be a nice guy. And you guys gonna have to teach me in the chat how to be a nice guy, so you know. If you can't teach me how to be a nice guy, then you can pay me to be a nice guy, and if you pay me to be a nice guy, I might be a nice guy long enough to be a nice guy that gets paid for being a nice guy. I just don't know if you guys hear my dog snoring. This was way different earlier because, like, I was talking real close to the phone, but I'm still trying to keep the sleep stream vibes going on, so you know. We got the little dancing bitch in the corner. Maybe I should have myself on the camera though while we doing this. I'm just thinking of how we can keep the YouTube stream going on. But like, I need a switch. Cause if I could switch and be like, oh, YouTube being a little bitch right now. YouTube being a little bitch right now. So come join the party. That's what I'm gonna work on for tomorrow, right? Cause I'm trying to have like everybody on the website. And that being said, I might be going outside soon, guys. What's up, Nate?
Hey, what's up, CNN?
How's life? Welcome to the internet. This ain't CNN. This is WTFFM.
Oh, well, we don't have that over here.
Oh, okay. Well, you should. This is like one of the best news companies to get your news from, bro.
The best news company is when they don't sugarcoat a Mexican one, but they canceled it.
You talking about two? What was that joint?
Huh?
Telemundo.
Yeah, that's fake.
Telemundo's fake news.
Yeah, fake Univision. That's all fake.
Okay. Your phone blowing up, bro.
Nah, some girl wants to come over, but I don't know.
But you should come on this joint with the phone you actually use.
Huh?
I don't stream with the phone I use. I know you guys see me streaming with 4 phones.
This one is just for calling and texting. That's it.
Yeah.
But then I got a separate phone just for the apps.
Like, bro, I got like one of the coolest little overlays for my stream and everything.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, bro, we got the little news stream going over, and we got it for the TV format too, bro. We got it ready for your TV too.
I can't sync it.
We got it ready for the TV too, bro.
Oh, so you're good with software and all that?
Oh no, I do this shit with phones. I make my own shit.
Oh, that's tight.
Hey, you know what's crazy, right? Everybody be like, you be playing PlayStation. I'm like, PlayStation 8, bro.
Shit.
I got a PlayStation 8.
I never owned a console in my life.
I've had consoles back in the day. Last console I had was a PS4. I haven't had a computer since 2012, and I don't feel the need to get one. No, actually 2011. I never did 2012. I didn't do 2011. I missed a lot of years, bro.
Oh, because you skipped them?
I'll see you around. Have a blessed evening. Yeah, just remember, your phone's a computer as long as it's not an iPhone. If it's an iPhone, the best thing you can do is talk on here.
No, I don't have an iPhone.
And you can do the Sora thing.
I have a Motorola.
Yeah, I got one of those. I got 2 of those over here. We have a pile of phones. And it's doing a pile of phone things. What's up? Welcome to the internet. How's life?
What's up?
How's life? Big time Meet Me streamer?
Big time Meet Me streamer? Who the fuck said I was a big time Meet Me streamer?
Well, you pretending to be a song, right? I don't know what you got going on.
Yeah, I used to be a podcast producer.
Oh, you a podcast producer. That is so interesting, bro. That is so interesting.
It's really not. It's quite a boring job, actually.
Was your mom proud of you?
Do what?
Is your mom proud of you?
Oh, yeah, yours too.
Oh, my mom's proud of you? She probably is, bro. She probably is.
She's more proud of me than you, so that's crazy.
Hey, it makes the most sense in the world, bro. It makes the most sense in the fucking world.
You know, you could be somebody too. I hope you know.
Nah, I'll never be nobody, bro.
You can't see. You can't talk like that.
I'll never be nobody,
Very
bro.
good mother in the building. Let's fucking go.
Why are you so loud, bro? I got a bedtime stream going on all over the fucking internet right now. And you got the whole, you playing the horns and shit.
I'm sorry you're on a bedtime stream. My bad.
No, you on the bedtime stream, bro. No, I don't know what you talking about. Yeah, you on the bedtime stream.
On a Saturday night?
Yeah, it's a bedtime stream, bro.
Hey, you're going to bed?
People gotta go to work and shit. I'm not going to bed, but they going to sleep. We're doing a news stream, but it's like it's a sleepy news, bro.
That's fine. It's crazy work being on Ask Questions and then you're going to bed.
No, I'm not going to bed. They're going to sleep, bro. They're going to sleep. I just had it close out the on screen at first, and I wasn't prepared to have you on screen.
Oh.
I wasn't even logged in to meet me yet.
Bro, I like your layout though. I like your shit. Like that shit does look cool. I like that shit.
Yeah, bro. I got like the craziest joint, like you see. I don't know if you see, bro. And this is because I set it up like this. This is because I set it up like this. What's up? Welcome to the internet. Hello. How's life over there, sir? I guess it still ain't got the same buttons as it does for the other way. Okay. Well, welcome to the internet. You like in the midst of the craziest stream you'll ever be in, maybe. Yeah, bro. Oh, nah. I don't think you understand the seriousness of what's going on right here. But it's cool though, bro. Matter of fact, I should have myself on the camera. You're right, bro. I'm gonna have myself on the camera for this, but I need to be able to keep turning y'all down. So we're gonna figure out how we're gonna do this tonight, but it's irrelevant on how we do it. I'm gonna set y'all up like right here. I'm gonna set you up like right here, bro. You got the music all loud though, so I had to have you turned down, so I don't know how I'm gonna be able to hear you either. Cause you can see what we doing over here, bro. Oh no, I got this whole joint set up like this, bro. I don't think you know what's going on. But it's cool though, cause you reminded me I can set up the whole screen. Because at least they get an opportunity to see me. Because I had to keep turning the camera on and off for the overlay. Yeah, this is pretty cool though, cause I can sit here and look right at the camera and talk to y'all. And I got a fucking Pokemon server. That's crazy. Now it's just weird because like I'm managing everything over here. But now this all over there. I don't know how to address it. Smoke break, chat. What happened?
I said to me, stay home, only God can judge.
Yeah, you know. I'm just trying to figure out how to flip flop this on over. Feel me? Oh, we got Lazarus back in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
What's up, Lazarus?
Not much.
Can't never push you down, bro.
What?
Can't never push you down.
I don't know. I'm just fucking killing time, bro. I already watched every movie, TV show. I'm tired of playing Xbox and PlayStation. This is what I'm left with. Cooking some steaks on the air fryer, though.
Oh, you got steaks in the air fryer?
Yeah.
That's perfect now, because I can sit here and just go like this. But I gotta switch it up.
Oh, it's cleaning and fucking using the skillet and shit. I don't got no maid. I don't got no wife. That shit's simple to clean on the Ninja.
Yeah.
The Ninja air fryer.
Well, it's easier to do it on the stove, though. Like, if you do it in a pan.
Nah.
A pan's easier to clean than the air fryer. You gotta take that shit apart and clean it every fucking time.
Nah, the air fryer, you gotta see myself. I'm not touching. I got a new wave fryer, so then I can use the skillet on because ain't no cooking on my fucking stove. My stove one of them smart stoves, but it's just there to complement the fucking refrigerator. Like I can control it with my mouth. I can control my microwave, everything, guys. You gotta see what I'm talking about. But I'm not cooking on. I already want my mom tried cooking on that shit. I warned her, don't fucking mess up my glass cooktop. Like,
Yeah.
use the new wave and the fucking skillet, and like I don't want to hear it.
I feel you,
You
bro.
know? Cause I live alone, bro. I don't got no fucking woman to be fucking cleaning up after me and shit.
She ain't gonna clean up after you, though. You're gonna be lucky you find a woman that cleans up after herself.
That's why I keep it clean.
You gonna be lucky you find a bitch cleaning up after herself, bro. Like,
Man, that's why.
I don't know, bro.
Man, you gotta see what I'm talking about.
Are you rich yet?
Wait, what?
Are you rich yet? Bro, you gotta settle down. Like the next woman you get with, you gotta settle down.
I'm of course, dog. What do you mean settle down? I ain't settling down with these fucking.
Okay, bro. I don't know. Like if I was you, I would settle down. Like, bro, it's getting to a point.
And then when I do settle down, I tell them, look, here's my fucking prenup. And then once they see the prenup,
I don't know why you talking. Like, I guess y'all do it different. I don't know. I don't do it like everybody else do it. So, what's up? Welcome to the internet. Just to make you guys aware, he has nothing on his screen. I don't know if he has nothing on in his screen. So, you know, this is why we have it like this. We go back and forth. What's up? Welcome to the internet. Hello. Hello. Welcome to the internet. How's life today? Well, the good thing is you're on the internet with me, with you, with WTFFF, and all the places we may go. I'm just saying, bro. Oh, did I cut something off? Hold on, cut nothing off. No, I ain't cut nothing off. Okay. This screen dangerous right here. This one right here dangerous. This screen right here dangerous. I'm dangerously on the screen with you, so I put on the move. We'll pick out something other for tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to use for tomorrow, but we're going to use something else for tomorrow. I said something other, but don't worry. There's AI versions of me that get it right. What's up? Welcome to the internet. How's life today? Oh no, I gotta look into this camera. I gotta put these kind of like over here. I don't need that one over there. I need this one over here. It's hard to look down like that. I'm gonna have a better setup. Like the next day or two, like probably tomorrow, we're gonna have a whole kill switch going around YouTube. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna have a whole kill switch around YouTube. It's gonna be, but we're gonna have a different type of stream tomorrow. Matter of fact, we about to cut YouTube's off right now. So like YouTube, it was fun chilling with y'all today. Come in for the sleep streams every night. We gonna have this little live AI girl sitting here telling y'all the stream, telling y'all the news or whatever. I'm gonna go back over on this joint. So y'all gonna have to follow me over to my website.